igama uSthembiso ngamathonsi ngihlala eMtuba, specifically eKhula Village. I'm a local youth and business owner. I'll say serial entrepreneur because we start different businesses wherever the opportunity is. So that's what I do all day, every day, finding opportunities and finding a way to make a living and create employment.
So yeah. What kind of business are you doing?
Currently, the business we're doing is maintenance. We fix some facilities. We've done 3 big projects so far, and we employ between 15 to 20 youth. Yes, skilled and unskilled. Me and my team, there's 3 of us. I'm the team leader. I have a project manager, Usiyabonga Mkize, and I have a site manager, Udlaganipo Zwane. And then the 3 of us, we can tackle any project, any maintenance project.
What is the state of entrepreneurship in Kenya?
The state of entrepreneurship, I think we're in a space whereby it's no longer a fancy thing to do, it's a necessity because of the unemployment that is, and there's so much untapped potential that is there in the areas. You not imagine. If you sit with the youth and you talk to them, you'd see the perception you had of someone and after you've spoken with them, see this person has a plan, has a vision. It's just that the environment as yet is not conducive enough to maximize the potential of such talents.
Okay. So, like, what do you think is it the problems? Is it the mindset?
I'm referencing directly to my experience as an individual.
Sure.
And from there I draw a general conclusion. The journey it took for me to be in the space that I am, it was a very long one, a very difficult one, and there's no clear guidance. It's a trial and error method until you get there. So there's not much of support structure because all the support structures that are available, they are politically driven. So even that creates a conflict of interest whereby we're gonna put you aside because you represent this flag and not this one, and sometimes other politics like I remember the time where we're engaging in Smangaliso to look for the opportunities for the local youth. We found out there that even the engaging platform itself is very difficult because when you come, like, who are you, where you from? And the problem is we don't know who you represent, and we don't know who is it appropriate for you to be here because there's a leadership crisis. That's what they told us, because there's Kosi, Nakuzana, it's local politics, demarcations, and there are many political issues that are seen generally looking at in the news, but when in practice, when as an entrepreneur, you see that thing is very obstructing.
Okay.
Very difficult. Yeah.
What do you think we can do as young people in Kenya to fight? Because the challenge of poverty is real.
Yeah. Can I answer now? Or wait, okay. I would say that the first thing you mentioned mindset, and I cannot disagree with you there. So I would say the first point in your mind is the taking of responsibility, owning the responsibility of, yes, there are external forces, but where you are and what you do all day is actually up to you. So if there's leadership crisis, it is, yes, that's a problem, but are you the solution of it? Are you partaking to be part of that solution? So I would say to young people, problems that we see are not there for us to mention them, but they are there for us to partake and solve them. That's what you are here for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give us a practical example of what you did when you're facing those problems?
Okay. we came together as a local youth, identify the problems that why we're in the state that you are in, and we also identified, okay, so what are the key structures that could help us? We have the local municipality, who is this Smangaliso as our neighbor. Can we use this as an opportunity to actually radically and change our lives, to escape the position that you are in? So we sat together, and then when we formed a business forum, well, generally the youth, yes. So because we're interested in participating in the local economy and finding all the help and all the assistance that municipality can provide, and other organizations, including Smangaliso, can provide, and other and looking at the local economy. And also, for the first time, we discovered that in the position that we are in Dudu, there are key industries that you can partake in.
Sure.
You say gold, maybe you can look for there are many diverse opportunities, but where we are, let's start according to what is available before you explore your own talent.
Sure.
But to find resources, what is available? So what was available was tourism. What was available was agriculture. Okay, how can the youth participate in this in a meaningful way? So we engaged the structures to find help, and Smangaliso was very assisting. Because of the platform itself to engage was very difficult, and mostly because of the local politics.
Okay.
And the organization, it was fortunate that it was under the new leadership when we engaged it, and it was remandated by the no longer the new CEO, but at the time it was the new CEO, Mr. Ukosini.
Yeah.
Yes, he remanded Smangaliso to move just from focusing on conservation and tourism, but also community responsibilities. Yes, and so that is the platform at which we engaged, and even that type of idea was motivated by the letters we wrote and meetings we set just to pave the way first. Before we talk specific, we first paved the way to engage, and they responded exactly what we needed. Maybe not at a rapid scale, because there are clear constraints like the government budget and time and prioritizing of resources, all that, but they are doing something, and it has helped me and my people quite a lot.
Okay.
To make an example, in my team, I have a guy that we sat in those meetings 4 years ago to explore ideas, and 3 years later he has his first car. There's a person we sat in meetings to discuss these issues, how we can solve these issues, and now he's a married man. So whatever the policies, whatever was general, even if I speak, but down the line, there are specific lives and that are being affected, and then they're actually changing.
Okay, I like when you say opportunities like tourism and agriculture, and when as umuntu osengaphakathi, a word of advice to young people, what do you think is lacking? Because there are still a lot of young people, specifically Khula Village, who are suffering from drugs and all of those things, who thinks there's nothing they can do. So what do you think that young people they can do practically to tap kule opportunities akhona? Yini elekhaya do they lack in terms of knowledge, or what is it that you think they can do ube practical ngalento lena?
Okay, I'll try to be practical. I would say participate what is happening in the local community, and try to find the right table to engage. The crucial issue number one, I think you yourself have previously said, information. Try to get information, so you can speak what you know and what you understand. the issue that I found in my experience with the team that we built and the journey that we had until we were in this position is sometimes as a collective, you 3 or 4 people speak and you believe you're all of the same mind and we're all equally ready.
Sure.
And then you fight for something, you have multiple engagement for specifically looking for business opportunities. And then only to find that when the opportunities now say, okay, finally the opportunity is here, and you'd find that people are not actually, have not prepared for it. So for example, there's an opportunity that is quick, we have to take advantage of it, and then we just say, okay, here's opportunities, provide papers. No one has, 3 people have papers, but in the room there's 20 people in the meeting said we want local business opportunities, but where are your papers? Where are you tax compliant? Are you this? Are you this? Your part is not done, but you're so faithful to the fight that when the victory is here, you actually not take advantage of it. So preparation, also working on yourself. The problem that we have as young people, especially black, we see problems and they are clearly outlined to us, and they make us feel in a certain way that we focus more on looking at the problem and not internalize with, okay, what can I do to match the opportunity? So I would say preparation.
Okay. Who got an opportunity to access certain opportunities but abangekho ready, and how can we help them to get ready?
I would say having events like the one ekade this week, my cousin Ngobizo Mahlangu, who is leading an entrepreneurial initiative, UKZN, and he invites all our stakeholders ahlukahlukene, Osita or Banbani, to actually teach young entrepreneurs what is required, what is needed, and what is vital. And indlela kade beyorganize ngayo was very impressive because bebengena kuma different type of perspective. Kukhona kahulumeni, bekhona an actual entrepreneur talk about actual issues, as we're having this interview, and I have that insight. And then you have people from CEDA, from all these organizations that are actually there to help you, to register for you, mahala, everything, to do everything for you. So I think more of events like that, I think as much as they seem faint messenziwa and attendance sometimes are poor, but they make all the difference.
Okay. So do you think those kind of events need to be done emkhanya kude?
Yeah.
Or are they ayenziwa or mhlawumbe singasho ukuthi
uma yenziwe mhlawumbe ibizelwe down, now I would say go to the people. Don't call people to you, go to them.
Go to them.
Yeah.
Okay, as Khula Village, like you have done something amazing, and congratulations for the first time ngizindaba scuba diving, ngazi skydiving. Ezinqobezo ngentshela kune skydiving, what is scuba diving?
Scuba.
So can you explain ukuthi yini scuba diving, and how did you get yourself in this kind of business? Because that kind of business, so how did you find that kind of opportunity, and like see practicalize ngale ndlela ebesikhuluma ngayo ukuthi yeah. I certainly won't tell you don't sleep, you'll make it. I'm sure that's what you're looking for. As I've said, number 1, get information. Number 2, engage, participate. We engaged, we participated, we engaged. The scuba is done through Inakuzan. The opportunity was given by Smangaliso. Okay. On the same context that we talked earlier, we went there to look for what are opportunities that are there and what opportunities that can be created. You see, so we had those engaging. There was a local youth looking for such opportunities, and then when I was in that environment, you cannot actually predict what actually going to happen. Sure. But put yourself in that space. So when I was in that space, I was approached by a guy from Netherlands. Said, this is this opportunity, this is a program I want to do in the park, and you know me through reputation. Okay. Said, okay, you've been engaging in this context, how can this thing actually be possible? So me knowing the values of the park and how Mr. Bukosin has reminded the organization to focus on the communities, I said, Dedra, we have an opportunity there.
So we engaged, we made proposals. But at first, I ensured I wanted to understand the whole program. I was always been fascinated by marine economy,
Okay.
always, because in this country it's not tapped yet.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, so we engaged the park, made proposals, and it was a long process. It was a long process.
How long did it take?
From the point where we engaged and the point where we actually got the first permit, I think it took more than 6 months, because the park does do due diligence.
Okay.
Because scuba, to explain scuba, you take people on a boat, you go into the deep sea, and then you drop them off so they can go down and explore nature. It's like a game draft but underwater.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are there, they explore the marine nature. It's an experience like no other. I'm
Do
not
you
gonna
go
tell.
with them?
Yes, because you have to
You've been under sea.
Yes, I've been there. I'm telling you, it's an experience like no other. Experience like no other. It's beautiful down there. And I was fascinated by. I'm also a religious person,
Okay.
so I was like,
God is good.
God has done amazing thing. Like, look, Mfana said, I'm underwater right now, looking at sharks, and I'm terrified.
And you're not even afraid of sharks.
I was afraid of sharks.
Okay.
So this is where I knew that white people are crazy. There's a spot where we went to, and they said there are no sharks here. No, we can't be here. Let's just go look for sharks. It's like, aren't you supposed to be avoiding sharks? I said no. If there's no sharks, there's no game fish. There's no much action. So we went there for sharks. I signed that there is action there. So that's where the spot we went. So what do you do when the shark comes? You just punch it.
Punch it.
You just
So
it's a joke.
you've punched.
No.
Oh.
It was a joke. They're not as what we think when we look at movies like those shark attacks. The type of movies, it's a different experience. The marine life is beautiful, and what I understood is that a resource doesn't have to be something you sell. Just where you are is actually economical, because we had tourists from all over the world coming to dive Cape Vidal with us, and there was one of my highlight moments.
We emphasize it's important, because we find people, we kill each other for resources because we want to own them.
Yeah.
But nature, no one is supposed to own nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll correct on it.
Yeah, so there's a change of philosophy there, where you learn with actually business is not about selling goods all the time.
Sure.
It's also about selling the experience. So and people all over the world, they're interested in what's happening in South Africa at large, and they're interested in what's happening in local communities.
Okay, and like moving forward, do you think there are more opportunities that are yet to be tapped within Smangaliso that young people haven't even considered them?
I'll say plenty. There's plenty. There's very diverse opportunities. They don't come all at once.
Okay.
There are so much diverse opportunities. There's a conversation that I had with the CEO, and he promised me in our first meeting, and I think it was our second meeting. He promised me that we'll make history, because there are people in government who are actually committed in bringing the change.
Sure.
He said, Mansonzi, we'll make history. And I'm a witness of that, and I'm saying I actually have made history myself, because through that program of Scuba, I hosted an international TV show that plays at Mnet, Bachelorette. There's a point where was shot in Cape Vidal on my boat.
Whoa.
Yes. And there was another highlight moment. My crew were doing spearfishing. Also did scuba diving, snorkeling, and spearfishing. I will explain the difference. And we had a world record. You can go to where you find world records, you're gonna find the biggest marlin short. It was in Cape Vidal, and we did that. We almost died, but we did that. We almost flipped the boat, but we did that. I'll share the clips and the photos.
Wow, like
So we did make history, as the CEO promised, and we are continuing making it, and that inspired me to do more.
And I think in fact we need to give thanks to Babu School Kosim
Yes.
for opening them opportunities. It's single all about business, but he engage in the community. What can you say to him, and even to encourage even other leaders to say they need to consider young people for opportunities?
What I would say to him is he has done a great thing, and his sense of he's taking a lot of risk for just to do this thing, because putting us on because Smangaliso is a World Heritage Site, you understand, it's operates on a world standard. I could say a lot of many words, but I have to go to the fundamentals and just say thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for taking the risk for us. Thank you for putting your neck on the line for us. Taking local people who have no track record and put them in a world platform and say, do you? And providing all the people within his organization to deploy them, assist with this agenda. And even it's the fights that the organization itself has went through just to make these opportunities possible. Because if you're aiming for radical transformation, you're gonna disturb some structures, you're gonna disturb some things. So he's not afraid of those type of disturbance. His mandate, and what I admired about him is that he's a person who didn't even need his job to be a CEO. He's comfortable enough. But that made me learn the drive that he has. It's personal for him. And we need to make this thing of helping our people a personal agenda, not a job portfolio.
No, it was a pleasure for you to spend this card now.
So what my business name first is Adrenaline Charters. Yes, adrenaline. So you know it will be about action. So we do scuba diving, we do snorkeling, and we do spearfishing charters. So scuba diving is basically putting the scuba equipment, your oxygen, and going deep in the water to explore the marine nature. And snorkeling, you're just wearing a snorkel mask, and you're just floating and just looking down at the marine nature. So that can even done in shallow waters. Okay. Then spearfishing, it's like snorkeling but with a spear gun. So you're actually the spear gun is a very long gun with a long pin and with a string attached to it. So when you see game fish, they are permitted fish that you can shoot, and then when you see a fish, you hold your breath, you dive deep, and then you shoot. But spearfishing was done recreationally, different from the permits of adrenaline charters under Smangaliso. Because we were buying daily permits for it because it was more of a recreational thingy. But just to show today, there's a lot of things you can do in the water, not just the beach. There's a lot of things that you can explore.